my fellow weirdos, welcome back to my channel. For today's video we're going to be doing a little reading wrap up. I haven't done a book review or a wrap up in a really long time, partly because I read at the speed of molasses moving over flat ground. Also stuff, life, full-time job, kid, divorce, all that jazz makes it very hard for me to find time to read, but I love it, so I always do find time. But it just means I don't read as much as I would like, and really there's just no point in me doing a review video every time I read a book because it would be so sparse. So I thought what I would do is I would just do a little wrap up of all the books that I have read over the past couple of months, that you guys know my thoughts. And as usual, if you've already read the book, if you like it, leave a comment down below with your thoughts, your review. I always love to know, especially if we disagree. I always like to hear other perspectives. If you have any books similar to the ones that I do like, let me know. Recommendations, always appreciate it, etc. But let's just dive into it. Okay, the first one we've got is Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. Loved it. Loved it, absolutely adored it. I read this when I was on holiday in Mallorca with my daughter and some friends and their kids, and there were so many times where it was like we had to go or whatever, or my kid was like, let's play, and I'm like, okay, hang on, one more chapter. It was just, it's so hard to put down. It is genuinely engrossing. I'm gonna read you the blurb because I can't, this is one I can't talk about without spoiling. It wouldn't be spoiler free. So I'm gonna have to be vague when I'm giving my description of why I like it and such, but I will not spoil. Okay, this is a story of a murderer, a stolen child, revenge. This is the story of Ted, who lives with his young daughter Lauren and his cat Olivia in an ordinary house at the end of an ordinary street. All these things are true, and yet some of them are lies. An unspeakable secret binds the family together, and when a new neighbour moves in next door, the truth may destroy them all. Because there's something buried in the dark forest at the end of Needless Street, but it's not what you think. So, oh, how do I do this without spoilers? Okay. I thought, well, I did work out what was going on fairly quickly, but then Catriona Ward made me think that I was wrong and that I had completely misunderstood where the book was going and I predicted everything wrong, and then it turned out I was right. So she just completely misdirected me with her writing. She's that good. You know, this is twists, this is turns, this is revelations where you're like, what? Zoom in there. Moments where you just are like, oh my god. It's incredibly interesting, super thrilling and exciting, very engaging, complete page turner. You wouldn't be able to put it down. The characters are so complex and beautifully written and incredibly real, you know, in all their flaws and all their issues. It's all very real. It's all just, it's just gripping. I'm trying really hard not to give any spoilers, but I adored it. I really did. I adored every moment of this, and I can't recommend it enough. I'm reading Sundial at the moment, which is her latest release, so I'll have that in the next wrap up. But this is a big fat 5 stars out of 5 for me. I will recommend this until I'm hoarse. It's that good. Okay, next we have Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Bazterrica. I'm so sorry if I completely ballsed your name up. I am terrible at pronouncing things. Okay, blurb time. If everyone was eating human meat, would you? Marcos is in the business of slaughtering humans, only no one calls them that. He works with numbers, consignments, processing. One day he's given a specimen of the finest quality. He leaves her tied up in an outhouse, a problem to be disposed of later, but she haunts Marcos. Her trembling body and watchful gaze seem to understand, and soon he becomes tortured by what has been lost and what still might be saved. So this takes part in a dystopic future where humans are bred like cattle for leather and for meat. And it's as uncomfortable a read as that description would make you think. It goes into detail about the way that the transition, as they called it, occurred. How we went from animals to humans. And the part about that I found quite terrifying is that it didn't seem so completely unbelievable, because governments, with their tactics to do with media control and media manipulation, you know, with information being, I mean, we've seen it happen. We've seen elections being literally rigged and swayed by huge social media platforms that are able to just drip feed specific information to people in a way that they know is going to manipulate them. And it just doesn't seem like, it sounds impossible that we would be all cannibals and that everybody would just go to their local grocery store to buy a human hand. But when you read this, it doesn't. And that's why it's such an uncomfortable read. It also goes into detail about how they process them, how, you know, you've got literally how, you know, pregnant women are worth more, but they don't want to stress them out because they might miscarry, what they do with babies, what they do with like how dark meat versus white meat, literally, you know, black people and white people and Asian people, and how they're all categorized. It goes into detail of how they're sorry, little error there. Oh, I've gone slanty. Oh, I can't even bother to fix it. We're a little slanty. My memory card was full. I had to delete some stuff. Okay, so anyway, yes, it goes into how they are killed, processed. It's just an incredibly uncomfortable read from start to finish, and I think that's what makes it so brilliant, because Agustina doesn't hold back at all. There is no sugarcoating this. It is displayed in all of its bloody gore and brutality, and I think, you know, it goes a long way to, you relate it back to how we do treat people in society in certain circumstances, like they are just a piece of meat, like they are just an object, the objectification of people, of women, of, it's just, I think that's why it's extra uncomfortable, because even though this isn't real, and please God never let this be real, it still somehow feels real. Because I read somewhere that, like, the best way to tell a lie is to tell like 60% the truth and then weave it in with 40% lies, and I think that that's what this book does. There is truth to this because it relates to now, to life, to the way the world works as is, but this is a much more extreme example of those things, if that makes sense. So I don't want to do any spoilers, but I will say that there are points in this book where I was like, and at the end in particular, I mean, God, this just leaves you, it's like a punch in the gut, this book. Again, I thoroughly recommend it. I have to give it 5 out of 5. I kind of hope they make it into a movie. It would be a really disturbing movie, but it would be a really good movie. And it's a fantastic book. Okay, next we have The Graveyard of Gwenna by Guenther Primig. This is the sequel to the Gwenna. I think it's a trilogy, where basically Gwenna is a witch, and she has dreams and visions of people of the past, people from the future, people that are, things that are happening right now. And those are a series of short stories that we experience through her eyes as she's viewing them. This book, the first one's set in a psychiatrist's office, and she's telling the psychiatrist about her dreams for a specific purpose. Again, no spoilers. This time she has met an individual who has magical abilities. She is a witch, and she is trying to find out more about her past, more about her powers, and he is assisting her, and we have more of a selection of short stories. I really enjoyed this. I love both Gwenna books. I'll read you the blurb and then I'll give you my review. Young Gwenna has been on the run for a year, and it's been a year of fear and loss, and there are the dreams of a madman desecrating a shunned grave, of a monster's voice calling from a mirror, of a child's ghost haunting an old house, of a woman speaking to the dead, of a cursed hunt for a sacred animal. In the snowbound loneliness of the forest, Gwenna meets a potential ally, but the strange boy Penrod seems to pursue an agenda of his own, and there is one final dream Gwenna will have to face that leads him to her past, and from there into a very dark place indeed. I think that Guenther is an incredible writer, and I absolutely adore the short stories in both of these books. I really do. Every one of them is brilliant as a story on its own, and then as the collection with the little Gwenna story weaving them together. I really love it. This is going to be another 5 out of 5 for me, I have to say. I've been really lucky, I suppose, because I don't read as much as I would like, and I take my time with books. It means I'm really more particular about what I choose. So when I come to a book, it's one that I have seen, that I've read reviews about, that I've seen on Bookstagram, and I know I'm going to like it or not, basically, because the people who recommend it tend to have the same taste as myself. Finally, another 5-star, if I'm not going to lie. We have Slewfoot from Brom. Oh God, I want this to be a film so badly. It's amazing. Can I also just point out, he painted this and the paintings in the middle of this book. Like, how talented do you have to be? Where's the pictures there? Like, how talented of an individual do you have to be able to write the way that he writes, and to also create these? I mean, I'm so jealous. I'm just jealous. Okay, let me read you the blurb. An ancient spirit awakens in a dark wood. The wild folk call him father, slayer, protector. The colonists call him Slewfoot, demon, devil. To Abatha, a recently widowed outcast, alone and vulnerable in her pious village, he is the only one she can turn to for help. Together they ignite a battle between pagan and Puritan, one that threatens to destroy the entire village, leaving nothing but ashes and bloodshed in its wake. If it is a devil you seek, then it is a devil you shall have. This terrifying tale of bewitchery features more than 24 of Brom's haunting paintings, fully immersing readers in this wild and unforgiving world. I love this. I loved it. I've already been recommending this to friends. First of all, Abatha's Irish. She's a cunning woman, which is what we would call traditional like healers and psychics in Ireland, and I love that. I love her. She's badass. You know, she's fiery, and yes, sometimes a bit hot-tempered, and that can be to your detriment. She sometimes doesn't know when she wants to bite her tongue, but when she's just unwilling to bow down, she's unwilling to become an object to other people, she's unwilling to just stand by and let injustices happen to her. She fights to the last tooth and claw, and I have to admire. She's got guts, she's got balls. I love her. And I kind of went into this expecting it to be a certain way, and it's not. It's just like there is a friendship between Slewfoot and Abatha that I just loved. I loved it. I love pagan culture. I'm into witchcraft and things like that, so I did like having all of that weaved into this book. If you're into The Witch movie, this is definitely one you need to read. If you like that movie, you will love this book. But yeah, that is my recent reading wrap up, guys. All 5 stars. Like, what can I say? I mean, they're all brilliant. I recommend every single one of them to everybody out there. I think they're all amazing books, really well written, and I genuinely loved every second of them. Have you read them? What did you think? Do you agree with my review? Would you be a bit different from me? I always love to hear a different opinion. If you think of anything like these books that you think I would like, put it down below as well. Like I said, because I don't read as much as I should or would like to, it means I could be a bit more fussy. So if I get recommendations, it's something I can kind of look into and have a look. But apart from that, guys, if you could subscribe, like, comment, do all that stuff that helps me with the algorithm gods. And I will see you next time. Happy reading.